Massive ruckus in the parliament today. Some would call it unprecedented scenes where a bill which was being presented by the Home Minister torn to shreds, thrown at the Home Minister itself. It resulted in huge pandemonium, chaos and heated argument in the parliament, especially in the Lok Sabha. Now, why is there so much action and reaction on this bill? What is this bill and what does it propose? The bill proposes that if a minister in a state or at the center, including the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister, is arrested and detained in custody for 30 days in a case carrying punishment which may extend to up to 5 years of imprisonment, he or she shall tender a resignation before the 31st day of arrest. Failing this, the minister would cease to hold office. Now, many are calling this a precursor. They are calling this what has, at least something that possibly the government picked up when Arvind Kejriwal refused to resign. Hemant Soren did the same. They went to prison and then, of course, made Hemant Soren had somebody else in place, Champa Soren as the chief minister, while Arvind Kejriwal refused to do so. The government is pitching this bill as a major reform to curb the criminalization of politics. In politics, hold the members, those who have been elected by the people and are holding important positions, to higher moral standard. But there are some important concerns which have been raised on this bill as well. 3 important concerns. The clause applies when detention is linked to any law for the time being in force where the punishment may extend to 5 years or more. This phrase is unduly wide, can be used whatever way agencies deem it fit. The reversal of the presumption of innocence and the provision rests on the fact of detention rather than conviction. This opens the bill for potential political misuse, something that the opposition is worried about.
Sir, BJP people are telling this bill is to bring morality in politics. Can I ask a question to the Honorable Home Minister? When he was the Home Minister of Gujarat, he had been arrested, sir. Whether he took the morality of that point of time?
मुझे सुनो ना, पहले बैठ जाओ. माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं रिकॉर्ड क्लियर करना चाहता हूं. मुझ पर झूठे आरोप लगाए तब अरेस्ट होने के पहले मैंने नैतिकता के मूल्यों का हवाला देकर इस्तीफा भी दिया और जब तक मैं कोर्ट से निर्देश नहीं हुआ, कोई संविधान को मैंने स्वीकार नहीं किया. क्या सिखाते हैं नैतिकता में?
There is a lot of action going on. You must have heard, I'm sure all of you have heard, of the new bill that the BJP is proposing. We are going back to medieval times when the king could just remove anybody at will. There's no concept of what an elected person is. He doesn't like your face, so he tells ED, put a case, and then democratically elected person is wiped out within 30 days. This is new. Also, let's not forget why we are electing a new vice president. Just yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody and I said, where is the old vice president gone? He's gone.
So is the idea, the government says, is to target corruption and graft. Meanwhile, the opposition says it is only being brought to destabilize the opposition governments in the country. Let's open this up for debate. Rajat Sethi, political analyst, is joining us on the broadcast. We are also being joined by Mr. Monojit Mandal, political analyst leading to the TMC. He is also joining us on the broadcast. Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress Party will be also with us on the show, and so is RP Singh, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with NDTV. Let me start by asking you, RP Singh Saab. There have been some questions which the opposition has raised as far as this bill is concerned, and let's take them point by point. The statement of objects and reasons says that the ministers must be beyond any ray of suspension to uphold constitutional morality. But how do you justify removing a prime minister or chief minister detained for 30 days under laws like PMLA? And point in case is Kejriwal case, where the leaders still enjoy popular support, and it completely turns on its head the whole presumption of innocence until proven guilty.
Well, in the same case, court has also given a ruling that even the ED case, for that regard, in a PMLA case, that until proven guilty, the person has right for a bail. And for that regard, the matter has been referred to JPC, where all the opposition parties will have a right to put their point of view across, and then they can bring the amendments and all. But let me just show you one clip which I have, little older clip of Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Torn up and thrown away.
He is talking about a similar bill being torn and thrown away.
Argument that have been.
So things have changed 360 degrees. I mean, till a few years back, he said that bill should be thrown and torn and thrown away. Today, he has torn the bill because the bill has been introduced. So his people have, the political leaders have done the same. I mean,
Sir, but it was not Rahul Gandhi. I mean, it was the people of the opposition, not Rahul Gandhi.
Ankit, when it comes to, otherwise they say that we are part of Indie lands. I know there's a TMC woman member parliament who did what they did today through the bill. I still remember Mamata Banerjee did that long back on the infiltrators entering Bengal. Now it has been other way around. Although it has been other way around, but that point aside, issue is how can we allow corruption be in a system? How do you check corruption in the system? The chief minister who runs the government from the jail, he says, "I'm the chief minister, I run the government from the jail." He comes out of the jail, he said, "I'll still run the government." The court passes a stricture saying that you can't go to office. Give me a second, please. You can't go to office. You can't sign a file. You can't call for a meeting. Even then he says, "I'm the chief minister, I run the government." So what is the way of doing the check and balances of such instances? And there is a provision of bail then. I mean, one can always take a bail and be out of the jail
Sir, but in PMLA cases, there are a different set of rules and very stringent measures as far as the bail is concerned. This will, opposition argues, will open misuse of the entire agencies with a new level of vindication by the government of the day.
So the opposition rule sets are also doing now in their respective states. Punjab government is using the vigilance department to put the leaders of the opposition. I'm not contesting their case. I mean, Punjab government might be right with their cases, or I can't contest that because that's the sub judice. But there are people who are in jail for many months now.
Okay.
In Punjab.
All right,
also.
you've made your opening remarks. Let me get one from Monojit Mandal, then I'll go to Rajat. In fact, Monojit, the government argues that the ministers in custody, they erode public trust, thwart constitutional morality, and compromise good governance. In fact, people in such high offices can also influence the case. If elected representatives are truly expected to act above political interests, why should opposition leaders resist a constitutional safeguard to ensure that those in custody step aside from office? If they are proven not guilty, they can come back and assume office.
I'll come to the legality of this issue first, but let me talk about, rather expose the hypocrisy of BJP as far as the moral standing is concerned. What happens if the same opposition leader, just 2-3 days before he goes to jail, joins BJP? That person becomes Dudh ka dhula hua. We have an example of half a dozen good leaders, starting from Shubhendu Adhikari. He was shown to be taking money by BJP, not by TMC. This was a televised speech in the month of March 2016, in the middle of the 2016 assembly. From BJP's party office, it was shown that Shubhendu Adhikari is taking money. Within 4 years, he joined BJP. Narayan Rane in Maharashtra, सबसे corrupt party, national corrupt party. Who says this? None other than the Prime Minister. Ajit Pawar, 36,000 ka ghotala. Who says this? None other than the Prime Minister. Go to Meghalaya. Who says this? The same Prime Minister. Sabse Karat party. After the election, the Prime Minister makes nata to it.
But then, Manojit, you should be happy about this. So all these people will not be able to hold any constitutional force if this bill comes into effect.
This is all about infusing morality in terms of law. I'm questioning that very standing from BJP. Forget about the legality. His question reverses the very provision of the Constitution that you are innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
This provision is completely reversed.
Okay.
I'm not even going into that. I'm talking about the facts of the cases within the last 7-8 years.
Okay.
And talk about the
Can I
people
make a small
in
point?
jail.
Hold on, sir. Let me first get in the opening remarks from all my panelists. Then, of course, we'll have time for more questions and rebuttals. Rajat, the opposition is up in arms. They argue that the legislation can be used by the government to attack opposition-ruled states. They can be destabilized through arbitrary arrest of ministers and chief ministers. There are multiple examples of Netas, those who were accused of something, went to jail, and then later were acquitted. Whether it was Jay Lalita, Shibu Soren, A. Raja, Jagannath Mishra, all of them were acquitted by the courts later. Why should we now reverse the whole principle of, innocent until proven guilty?
What a bizarre argument here. The opposition is currently behaving like pirates of the Caribbean with their arms up in the air always, no matter what the issue is. Here there was a very simple, a simple case where you want to have and expect probity in public life. Opposition has a penchant for turning everything into a scandalous bill. Now look at the merits and the details of this case, and I'm 100% sure people, and I've heard certain members of parliament speak, none of them have actually gone through and read the bill. This is a very specific case where a de facto sort of a precedence where anybody who's going into jail tends to resign, that has been converted and given a shape of a de jure argument, wherein there would be laws that if you stay in under jail for whatever reasons, XYZ, it's not just left to your morals and your moral calling, you have to step down. By the way, all of these arguments, these utterly rubbish, misleading arguments which are being made that the government can put anybody in the jail. First of all, courts put people in the jail, A. B, if after 30 days, stay suppose in jail for 45 days and you are able to secure bail, you can go back and again, join the office, the office that you've been forced to leave. Where does, vendetta kick in? The only sort of argument that I see as a conscientious citizen that anybody who is under jail for whatever reasons and has been repeatedly denied bail by the courts of our country has no business, because that person is under oath to preserve the constitution and he is acted in a way where he has to be in jail for greater than 30 days. Why should he hold office? And
but
why
Rajat,
should he
let me ask you this on what you're saying. Denial of the bail doesn't mean that somebody is guilty of the case, of the charges that they have been accused of. Hold on.
No, I have understood your argument and I'm again repeating, Ankit. Categorically, I'm saying nobody is saying that you are guilty in 30 days. All that is saying is remit office, leave the office that you are trying to occupy. If you are able to secure bail, say in the 40th day, come back and join the office. Why do you want to stay in office when you are in jail?
No,
that is the point.
Where are the safeguards then? Where are the safeguards in this bill that people will not be unfairly targeted?
First of all, you don't believe in our courts. Do you believe that we are staying and living in a banana republic where every court and every judge is bought out by the ruling party? Are you trying to make that argument here? The simple thing is, if a court is putting you in jail and denying you bail for whatever reason, if it is greater than 30 days, you have no business to occupy office and be privy to certain files which come under Official Secrets Act. Why should a potential criminal have access to that information?
Adil, respond to what, the argument that Rajat has presented, that why should somebody who could potentially subvert the course of justice because of the position that he is in or she is in, it is not just moral probity, but this is also something that, as per Rajat, anybody who is, if the courts do not deem fit to grant you bail, then what's the harm in remitting office till the time you can prove yourself not guilty?
Ankit, at times I wonder, is it the intellectual bankruptcy of the BJP and their cheerleaders, or is it just their mischievous agenda? But that's for another discussion. World over, not just in India, world over, the edifice of criminal jurisprudence is that you're innocent until proven guilty. And when you're proven guilty, there are consequences. For example, in our country, if you've been sentenced to prison or if you've been sentenced to imprisonment for a period of 2 years or more, then you're disqualified. Then you're disqualified from holding public office. Now, let's first understand some basic legal concepts. The registration of a case starts with an FIR, which means that if somebody alleges a cognizable offense, the police is duty bound to lodge an FIR. The culmination of the FIR is something which is called a charge sheet. After charge sheet, there are summons by the court and then charges are framed. So when you have to fill a field, let's say in your passport, that is there any pending case against you, you only have to say yes if charges have been framed against you. Number one. Number two, in this country, over the past 11 years, the agencies seem to be obsessed with the opposition. Name me one or two leaders worth the salt belonging to the BJP who've been sent to jail. Number three, I don't want to embarrass RP Singh ji, for whom on a personal level I have the highest of respect, but his top echelons accused Hemanta Sharma, Ajit Pawar, Narayan Rane, Mukul Roy, and a host of other leaders with allegations of bribery and corruption. And the moment the BJP's washing machine came into force, all those leaders became paragons of virtue. Let's just understand the BJP has emasculated all institutions in this country. Agencies are their handmaiden. Under these circumstances, they will misuse agencies. They will arrest ministers and chief ministers.
But that's the fear.
They will destabilize.
But then does the opposition also has any other way, or at least a constructive way to, if you oppose this bill as draconian, what is your concrete alternative to prevent a situation where the chief minister or a minister continues to run the government from jail, creating both governance and ethical crisis?
Ankit, tomorrow I level an allegation against you and the police rightly or wrongly arrests you. Should you lose your job? Merely because there is an allegation. An allegation is just something which starts or initiates an investigation. Ultimately, the guilt or the innocence is decided with a judgment. You can't put the cart before the horse.
RP Singh wants to respond to this. All right, Adil, you made your point. RP Singh wants to respond to this. RP Singh, along with this, I would also want you to, add in your comments. The bill seeks to amend Article 75, 164 and 239AA, introducing a legal mechanism that mandates the removal of the ministers in custody for offences punishable by 5 or more years. This means that the removal of the sitting ministers, chief ministers, prime ministers will kick in during investigation. And that period, instead of after conviction, it comes back to the same point. Why should people lose their job if they are not guilty in the end?
Ankit, Adil is a very learned lawyer and a dear friend. He just quoted that if you are being accused of something, will you lose your job? Adil, if he's in jail, how will he run the job? I mean, he has to be out to come and present a show. He can't present a show from the jail saying, I'm running a show from the jail, please, I'll keep running my show from the jail. It's not possible. Similarly, this happened in Delhi when Chief Minister was in jail. He said, I'll keep running my, as a Chief Minister from jail. And because of that, the Delhiites suffered, the administration suffered, the processes in the system suffered. There's the concern. And also, as far this issue of whether any government official or anyone, I mean, it's not issue of my position, it's issue of morality in public life. And then we have always presented that through Amit Shah ji, he never took any office till the time he was not quitted by the court. So was L.K. Advani ji for that regard, and so was Madan Lal Khurana ji for that regard. He stepped down from the chief ministership when there was a case of some hawala mentioned in some hawala diary. So let's understand, in public life is more of morality than the ruling or the rules. So if you want to do away with morality, tomorrow there was a gentleman in Delhi who was caught raping a woman and then made a video out of that, I mean, he could have continued as a minister, but he was forced to quit because of the morality.
Okay,
Similarly,
but while we are harping on morality and ethics, Rajat, answer me this: the data between 2014 and 2002 suggests that there has been a four-fold jump in the enforcement directorate cases
Can I answer
against
that also?
politicians. Sir, hold on. Let me bring in Rajat on this. 95% of these cases are against the opposition leaders. Of this, there are 19 ministers, and between their tenure, there have been 19 arrests made, and the conviction rate of the ED lies, this is what the court has said, at a mere 1%. Should this data not worry the opposition of a potential misuse?
Ankit, it's again misrepresentation of data. On this data, you should have presented that how many cases has the ED arrested somebody for greater than 30 days and what has been the course followed thereafter. If an ED is able to secure an arrest of an individual for greater than that period, the matter would have gone to certain courts, be it a PMLA court or be a regular court. If a person is not able to secure a bail, there would be certain facts in the case which would have allowed this case to drag on. And even if, for that matter, if somebody is behind jail for whatever reason for greater than that time, and eventually if ED is not able to build up a case, they have to come out. They have to come back into life. And this is what happened with Hemant Soren. He's back in job as a chief minister. Of course, now you can go and say there are only two worlds, and you need to opt and choose between that. In case A, Hemant Soren or Arvind Kejriwal would have continued to serve as the chief minister inside the jail. Is that a better case, or is the other a better case, wherein you need to demit office if you're going into jail and where the charges are framed in such a way that you are not able to secure bail from the courts? Now, don't make that stupid, baseless argument that all our courts are compromised. That is a bizarre argument which I'm not going to hear on this discussion.
Nobody, I don't think so. Anybody, Rajat, anybody, at least on this panel, has made that argument. So let's keep this aggression and using the word stupidity and all. Nobody on this panel, nobody on this panel has made that argument, Rajat. Let's not get aggressive and use some words for social media virality. At least on this panel, nobody has made this argument. We have been trying. We've been trying.
You did imply that.
I did not, Rajat. First of all, I did not. I only implied about the conditions of PMLA. I hope you know the conditions of PMLA and how stringent they are. And while you were saying how you are presenting the data of Enforcement Directorate, I specifically spoke about the politicians, and that is the data on politicians. I come with my research, Rajat. Let's not make it between you and I. It is not. You are neither. Both of us are not parliamentarians, so let's not make it between you and I. It's not
on television discussions to be sermonized by the anchor.
And I am here also not to hear from Rajat Sethi again and again to say stupid arguments. Nobody on this panel made it, Rajat. So don't try and turn it around, and don't use this unnecessary tactic of wasting time. All right, Manojit Mandal, let me bring you in at this moment. Now, since this bill has been sent to the JPC, does the opposition see that as a victory for themselves?
So I think the BJP is running on a borrowed term because they don't have the majority of their own. Everyone in this country know. And this also might be because of the case that they might have stolen votes according to their own estimation. If the votes were properly given, there is no kind of theft of voting, as they are now saying. Election Commission of India is their Election Commission of India. I don't know what would have been the result.
No, because I asked you this, because the opposition keeps harping that the government bulldozes what they want. The government is not bulldozing this. The government has sent this to JPC.
I and my friend from Congress raised very pertinent issue. Some specific examples of leaders switching sides. And my good friend from BJP, Mr. R.P. Singh, who is one of the gentler and saner spokespersons in the kitty, he did not even talk about that. There is a case against Subhendu Adhikari. They registered the case, CBI investigating. Okay. He was taking money. What happens to him? And on the other hand, the people who are languishing in the jail for
I'm out of time on this.
No
Adil, since you joined right in the end,
excluded.
I give you the last word, 30 seconds to you. Because the question also remains, and whether it's United Kingdom or anywhere else, even if there is an erosion of public trust, they have a law where erosion of public trust also makes you demit office. Shouldn't something like this be done in India as well? Whether you like this bill or not, there should be at least some constructive inputs from the opposition on this.
Ankit, for heaven's sake, I urge my friends from the BJP, don't turn criminal jurisprudence on its head. This is a very, very dangerous and a slippery slope. A mere allegation or an arrest, RP Singh and I both know how the police functions. All of us know how the police functions. It's under the thumb of the ruling government. Regardless, let's not go down a path where we wreak havoc with our criminal justice system. You can't label somebody as corrupt, you can't label somebody as a criminal, and there are consequences even before charges are framed. For heaven's sake.
Okay.
Just because somebody wants to become too or act like too loyal than the king, let's not give frivolous examples and illustrations.
Okay.
It's far more serious and sensitive, which should be lost, which should not be lost.
I'm hoping that there will be a much saner debate that could not take place inside the parliament today in the JPC, and hopefully all these doubts, questions which have been raised will be answered there. And at least, because one thing at least all of us can agree about, people, those who are elected for public office, they have to show, they have to be above, head and shoulders above the rest. And probity in public office is very, very important. So is the morality. We will have to wait and see how this bill in the JPC, what comes out of that, and whether the opposition then is satisfied of it. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the broadcast.